players aren't just going to show up. I mean, you have to make deals. You have to look at the board. You got to try to do something that's going to benefit with something with your team and your two key guys, if they're your key guys, and I think they are. Plus, a lot of other players. So I think we're probably in as good a situation as we could have ever been from a draft pick, young player, favorable contract situation in a long time, and especially at a time in the market that's hard to plan, like you're saying, because things will be spontaneous.
Pat Riley spoke with the media yesterday, his end of the season soiree. So probably not going to run it back. He didn't say not going to run it back because you never know. But Pat Riley understands, and Pat Riley is a straight shooter, saying what happened last year, what's happened really kind of the past 3 years, not acceptable. And you have to respect that.
But he wanted to run it back last year with the squad that he did. Everybody was saying, like, usually after 5 years, you got to switch it up. But he wanted to run it back another 6 seasons with the squad. And he knew he also said he knew what was going to happen with the whole Jimmy situation. So, yeah, the Jimmy situation, he has to take fault for that. But everything else he said, I agreed with him.
He showed a lot of respect to Jimmy Butler. Says, I still like Jimmy Butler. I still have a picture of him in my office.
From that Game 5, 2020 finals, the bubbles, when he's just exhausted. That was, to me, the greatest game I've ever watched played. That Game 5. That's the best game I've ever seen.
Okay.
From a competitive, I love the bubble. I may be the only one who loved the bubble, but I love the competition that we saw in the bubble, because that was real competition. There was no distractions or anything like that. It was just straight, let's get into it. Let's just play basketball. Let's see what's up. And I thought that Game 5, you saw an unbelievable performance by two unbelievable players in Bron and Jimmy. And the Heat won that game and pretty much left it out there because they had nothing for Game 6. But
emptied the tanks.
Riles, I loved everything Riles was said yesterday about the season, about him coming back, about him still having a competitive fire. I did appreciate that he taking accountability, that he could have avoided this Jimmy situation.
I think he was in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, he could avoid it. They could have avoided it.
Just pay him?
Or let him go from the jump. But he stood firm on, he stood 10-toe down. Like, I'm not paying that guy. But he was signed to a contract. He had to work to the contract. Jimmy wanted money for something 2 years down the line.
I think Pat Riley looked at it like this. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You give him the extension, he comes back, he's going to be Jimmy Butler. He's going to travel by himself, stay by himself, play when he wants to play, not play when he doesn't want to play. And you're really going to be kind of tied to him and hope that he shows up for the playoffs. Or you can say, no, I'm not going to extend a player that's aging who doesn't play that much and is going to play by his own rules. He's like, kind of, like, I'm kind of stuck here. So he went on the side of, I'm not going to pay you. And he verbalized it. And some people like that and say, he's a straight shooter. He was honest. He didn't lie. And good. And other people say, you can't handle players like that anymore. Well, and we've seen in these playoffs, there's been good Jimmy. And then there's the Jimmy the other night where Jonathan Kuminga was a better player on his own team than he was. That's interesting.
Jimmy's not a Batman. Jimmy let you know that.
So, but he wants Batman money.
Well, I mean, well, with the way things are going right now with the market.
But what I'm saying is
money. But he just, yes, but you're right.
I want Batman money.
I want Batman
treatment,
money.
But I want to be Robin, and I need you to bring in some more people. So do everything that I want, like I'm a Batman, but I don't want to be Batman. So I want everything that goes along with being a Batman, except having to actually be the Batman, which
he can do it.
He was in the playoffs.
He can do it, but Jimmy, I think Jimmy's Jimmy, bro.
This is the thing. Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Jimmy Butler. Okay, well, with that being said,
I'm just busting.
If Jimmy Butler were 26 years old, none of this would have ever happened.
If Jimmy was what?
26 years old.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's all about his age.
Of course. That's why I did not Pat. That's why I agree. Dan, when this happened, we both said, I think you agreed with Pat as well. Like, you didn't want to pay this man for 2027.
Right.
He signed for 25 and 26. When we get to 26, then let's get to that. But no, he won it. And I don't knock Jimmy for trying to get his bag.
You should always try to get.
You always should try to get your bag, and especially if you're trying to get a bag for the future. But I didn't knock Pat, but I know with those two hard-headed individuals, because they both said the respect that they have for each other is the reason why they don't like each other, because they're both the same people.
Right.
You knew this was going to get there. You didn't know how ugly it was going to get, but you knew it was going to get ugly. And that's why I was at fault. That's why I given fault to the Heat management, because I was like, you knew this was where it was going to get to. You're suspending him, all that. That's not good. It's not going to work. He's going to want out. He wants out. He wants his bag. And it weighed on the rest of the players on the team.
I want to ask you an important question. So what if Pat Riley folded and gave Jimmy everything he wanted, which he did in the past, and now he's finally put his foot down? How much better is this Heat team this past year?
I don't think they're any better, but
Well, I mean,
but
then you got to give Pat Riley credit.
What I'm saying is, you knew it was going to get to this situation. The suspension, once the one-legged, all that, you should have got rid of them from the jump, from there. Don't let it fester for another month or two.
Yeah.
That's why. Well, you thought he was going to change?
But at the end of the
Come
day,
on, man.
But I'm saying, at the end of the day, how much better would this Heat team have been with Jimmy Butler happy and paid? A 5 seed?
Yeah, we're still going to get your ass beat. Look, it wasn't going to matter.
So you have to look at Pat Riley and
I'm
say,
saying,
if we're playing the possible results.
Wait, Dan. No. How about this, Dan? Maybe you get rid of him early and see what you have with the pieces that you have, so you don't have to deal with the frustration, the constant reminder, the constant questions to the players. Hey, is Jimmy coming back? How does it feel with Jimmy being suspended? That's why you effed your team up like that, bro. And he knows it. And he said, yes, I will take responsibility, which he should. Cool. Jimmy's gone. It's over. Now let's look at the team in 25, 26.
Probably not going to run it back. But then again, what options do you have? We've talked about the different type of players and different type of guys that Pat Riley could bring in. You and I are not really high on Kevin Durant because he puts up numbers, but they're not so much impactful numbers. Giannis Antetokounmpo, if you team him with Bam, they're two guys that play inside the three-point arc in a league that is all about shooting outside the three-point arc. And what you would have to give up for Giannis is absolutely crazy. Zion and Williamson, well, there you go, right? Jimmy needs to be quiet and play more. Well, I mean, Zion doesn't always play more. And we're going to get into that maybe tomorrow, like these dream scenarios, these whales that we can land. What other tweaks can you make? But you can't run it back, right? Because we already know what this team is capable of, getting swept by the Cavaliers in horrible fashion. Pat Riley knows there needs to be change, but once again, to know that you need change is easy. To make the right changes, that's the hard part.
And you have to figure out where you start from. You need a nucleus. You need a foundation. And, do you have just complementary pieces? Do you need a big dog? Do you have to go get a big dog? Like a big whale, as our boy Tobin likes to say?
I would say every team needs, but you need a star. You need a big time star.
You need a absolute
big time star.
Bucket getter,
because
you need big time. You need a star.
2 stars. You have 2 stars.
No, but are they? You need a superstar.
Exactly.
That's what you need. You need a superstar. You need an absolute bucket getter. Tyler's a bucket getter. Is he a superstar? I don't know.
But in the fourth quarter, when they know it's going to go to him, he doesn't find ways to get those baskets.
But I mean, that's why you have to be. Look, and it's not because I'm, my team is in the playoffs and they're up 2-0 right now. But Jalen Brunson, everybody knows he's going to get the ball.
And he's going to get them buckets.
Right. And there's just times where, as a man, let me not say as a player, because Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, that they're going to come at you. But you just got to get the bucket. You just got to get the basket. Or you got to make the play. That's what it is.
This is what's so crazy about Jalen Brunson and Vlad. You watch every game and break down every single game. Not only do you know he's getting the ball, not only do you know he's shooting, at the end, he's going to shoot a 3, and he still gets it.
I don't mind. And that's why it's crazy being like, it's crazy how now you're more loved and accepted now than you were when you were playing. But when Kobe was taking those shots with 2 or 3, I get it. I don't have a problem when my best player is taking the shot. I'd rather live and die with that.
Yep.
You
At
know
the
what I'm
end of the
saying?
day, you gave your best shot.
Now, and I don't mind if he creates a great shot for his other teammates. Like, I don't mind if, like, when LeBron passes.
LeBron's gotten a lot of heat for that over the
But
years.
I don't mind that because that's a great shot. Like, a superstar can create his own shot and
Right.
create for others.
Hold up. You got Michael Jordan to John Paxson, and you got Michael Jordan to Steve Kerr. There's been times.
Right. Like,
you gotta
we
pick and
don't
choose your
let's
spot,
like,
but you got to know.
can't. I don't mind. Listen, here's the thing. I don't want the PJ Tuckers of the world. I'm only using PJ Tucker because of like guys who have like, shot that they shoot awkward, or that's not the guy you want taking a shot, or you know what I'm saying?
Perfect
Like,
situation.
You
though.
don't want him taking a shot.
Perfect situation about you saying you don't mind your big guy taking the shot, live or die. Jimmy Butler taking that 3-pointer.
Against them,
Against the
we
Celtics.
loved it.
You know what?
We loved it, and not only we loved it, we were like, man, that shot looked like it was going in.
Yep.
Like that was it.
I don't lose any
You
sleep. over
don't
that
lose
shot.
any, but do you have that right now as the Miami Heat currently
No.
stand right now on May 10th?
No.
Do they have a guy? Like they have a guy. Like I don't put it this way: Tyler could get you buckets. Tyler can in the fourth quarter light you up, get the points that you need. But he also needs a running mate, like another guy that can get all the attention. Because, like Pat said, and like Spo said, it was the first time he garnered so much attention, and he had to work through that.
Yeah, it's
Like
tough.
the scouting report now is we are stopping you. Now you have to improve your game. And I thought he did that a little bit towards the playoffs, towards the end of last season, 2020, 23-24. And in the playoffs where he was getting like 25 points, but also like 8 to 9, 10 assists. He was getting some, like, he had some double doubles. So I thought he was going to improve with that. This year, with the craziness that went on, it was like, all right, am I supposed to be the running mate? Am I supposed to be am I Robin? Am I Batman? What's going on here? It took them a while, and he still managed to have a great season, made the All-Star team, won the 3-point contest All-Star weekend.
Going to be interesting, though, to see if the Cavs maybe have kind of the formula against Tyler Hero. Go at him on the defensive end and then try to lock him up on the offensive end, and maybe he runs out of gas. We'll see. Tyler Hero's got to add that to his game. Also, you get that other running mate that gives you those other options in the fourth quarter, so they don't have to just key in on Tyler Hero. And I know you could say Bam Adebayo, but he needs another just scoring option and threat. Going to be interesting to see what Pat Riley does, but Pat Riley says he ain't going nowhere. 80's the new 60.
I like that. I like when he said that.
He said, I'm as sharp as I've ever been.
Well, I don't know about that. Because he didn't know what the commercial. I was like, what's going on here? Like he didn't he was trying to figure out the commercial with the duck and everything. I was like, oh man, what's going on? Pat doesn't know. You saying like the wrong commercial and everything like that.
Pat Riley's got it still.
But,
he ain't going nowhere. And in Heat culture, he said, don't question
He was,
it.
man. He was.
And I believe in Heat
but I was
culture.
only on that. He was rambling a little bit, but it was only on that. Like he confused commercials, and I could get that. I confuse commercials. Whatever, it happens. But the man still got the touch. It is too quick to send him to pasture. Come on, man. Like
And we're
not
telling you-
everybody's gonna win every year, but
no. Heat
but
culture
when
ain't
you-
going nowhere, he said.
but when you have a level of success, a standard,
Mm-hmm.
a culture,
Mm-hmm.
when it starts, if you start losing or it starts, you're not succeeding as the way you were before, people are quick to start tearing down.
For those that don't believe in Heat culture and say, whatever, look at what the Heat do. Look at what the Dolphins do. And I'll take it further. Look what the Pelicans do. You tell me that culture doesn't make a difference? I'm telling you it does. I'm telling you it does right now. Dolphins, your guy. Actually, it wasn't your guy at all. I was kind of embarrassed yesterday. Kyle Van Noy, who played for like 5 different teams. Did you see this yesterday on ESPN?
No, what you do?
He was on ESPN.
What he's on now? Fell live.
Yeah, he played for 5 different teams. They said rank the organizations you played for.
Oh, he went in on the Dolphins, didn't he?
He didn't go in on the Dolphins. He ranked all 5, and last and least was the Dolphins. Now, it was a 2020 year. It was
Oh, that was the COVID year.
right. So, but still, That's above the Chargers. That's ahead of the Patriots. I'm sorry, behind the Chargers. It's behind the Patriots. That's behind the Ravens. That's behind the Lions. He ranked the Dolphins last. And you're telling me culture doesn't make a difference?
Time out, man. Hold on. He rated the Dolphins behind the Lions.
The Lions and
when
the
did he
Chargers.
play for the Lions? Because when he was playing for the Lions weren't that good.
No, they were not.
And it's Detroit. No
Chargers weren't
disrespect,
that good
Detroit.
either when he
But,
played for 'em.
damn. So the Dolphins are losing after 2 years in a row of being labeled the best organization or franchise to play for.
Best franchise to work for.
But over the last 4 or 5 months, no, you know what? After that, over a year, because what's his name? What's that guy named Jordan Phillips? Was that the safety?
Yeah.
That went to they've been clowning the Dolphins, man.
Yeah. Yes, that is one of those things. And Calais Campbell from Miami playing great decides, I prefer if we go to Arizona. But once again, let's not get off. Heat culture makes a difference, man. And, you can knock it. You're not going to win every year.
Well, you're starting to get heat culture guys. Davion Mitchell's a heat culture guy. He is the epitome of heat culture.
Khalil Ware, he knows nothing different than heat culture. He's got 1 year in. He's deep. We'll see. We'll see, man. But, man, don't run it back. Don't run it back, though.
But you know what that sounds when I was watching him? It sounds like Triple J's gone. There's going to be some movement. And I like the fact that he's like, even our stars, it's not a definite, they might not be moved.
No one is 100% safe.
But he talked about the Tyler contract situation, and he's like, Tyler said what he said was right. Like, you could pay me in October, or you could pay me next year. And if I go in, it's going to cost you a little bit more.
We know Pat Riley. He ain't quick to write a check.
Oh,
from the show me state. Show me 7, I'll show you 8.